समन्ता चक्रवालेषु अत्रा गच्छन्तु देवता सद्धम्मं मुनिराजस्य सुनन्तु सग्गमोक्खदम् धम्मश्रवण कालो अयं भदन्ता धम्मश्रवण कालो अयं भदन्ता धम्मश्रवण कालो अयं भदन्ता नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स. All of you are warmly welcome. Today we are going to start our weekly Dhamma discussion. I have prepared a handout for you. And can you remember what did we discuss last week? We have given some signs to you to understand the Buddhism. What are the signs that I have given you? Last week I explained some signs. Yeah, fingers, head, heart, brain, legs and hands. What are the bottom goal, bottom line in our life? Happiness. Yeah. And do you have the article that I have given last week? No problem. Yeah. The first one is the happiness. What is the second step, second sign that I have given? Best friend. Our best friend is the happiness, mindfulness, so awareness. Don't neglect, don't forget your best friend. Always try to live with your best friend. If you have lost your best friend, it means you have lost your happiness. What is the second one? Next one?
5 fingers.
5 fingers. What are the 5 fingers?
Confidence, energy,
confidence or faith, and energy, mindfulness, concentration, wisdom. Those are the 5 fingers. Next one? Brain. Knowledge. Knowledge can be divided into 2. First one is the knowledge of karmic law or karmic force, and second one is the knowledge of dependent origination. What is the next one? Heart. In your heart, what should be happen? Loving kindness. You should fill your heart with my loving kindness or friendliness. Next one? Enemies. Be aware from enemies. Desire, hatred and delusion. Those are the enemies who disturb your happiness. What are your friends? Generosity, honesty and meditation. Try to cultivate, try to develop, try to increase your friends day by day for every moment. What is the next one? Mirror of the Dhamma. When you go to the mirror, try to remember those 3 kind of things in your mirror. What they are? Loving kindness, honesty and wisdom. Yeah. Next one.
Spirit.
Spirit. Yeah. Spirit, always we should try to understand, we should try to reflect or investigate about the dependent origination. That is the very important thing, which is the identity in Buddhism. Nowhere we can find it. That is very important thing. Buddhism says it as ultimate truth. The truth is divided into two according to Buddhism. The first part of conventional truth, especially we describe that the nature of the karmic law. The second step of the truth is understanding of the knowledge of dependent origination, which is ultimate truth. There are another four things like our legs and hands. The four things: associating a good friend, listening Buddha's message from him, and reflect, wise reflection, and practice it in your day-to-day life. Yeah, those four things are very, very important. We can see in a lot of discourses about these four things. It says in Buddhism, Satara Sotapatti Anga, the four kind of routes or steps that leads to purification. Those four things are very important. Those four things should be developed from beginning to end. That is very important. You never should tell that I have listened all things. We can't say it. You know, there were some Arahantas, there were some full enlightened ones in Buddha's period. After they enlightened, further they discussed about the teachings of the Buddha. That is
after being enlightened.
Yeah, because they did it for the success of others, not for themselves. Here today I am going to explain a very special topic in Buddhism. Already I think you know it. There are several special topics, main topics in Buddhism. For example, the karmic law and rebirth and Four Noble Truths and dependent origination and seven enlightened factors and also the Eightfold Path. Those are the main topics that Buddhism says. Again and again, you have to listen, you have to read about these topics. What they are topics?
Dependent origination,
Yeah.
Eightfold Path, Four Noble Truth,
the karmic law, rebirth, and if you don't like rebirth, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And yeah. On the other hand, already we have discussed about very special thing. What should we have a supreme spiritual teacher and his sublime truth? What is the reason that we should have this message? Day by day we have faced some problems in our life. Already we have mentioned those reasons. You can remember? Why should we find a spiritual teacher and his teaching?
To guide us, the friend, our friend.
Yeah, not only friend, but also day-to-day life, daily, we are reaching some sort of problems in our life. What they are?
Desires, delusions, hatred.
No, there are very special things, special reasons that we should find a spiritual teacher and his teachings? Already we have mentioned. First thing is aging.
Oh, aging.
Aging.
Aging?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, getting old. Day by day, we are growing up with age.
Right.
We are going to weakness day by day. That is why we should find a spiritual teacher. When we will be weak, even though we have a lot of facilities, although we have a lot of friends or children, actually then we are helpless. We will be helpless if we have no real friend. If we have no real friend.
To guide us through the life.
Yeah, which is the real friend? Who is the real friend?
Dharma.
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness.
Yeah.
Awareness.
If we have mindfulness, even though we have no friends, no children, we are not helpless. We have a friend. Always our mind is full with happiness.
Right. Exactly.
Because of awareness. Aging is the first reason that we have to face. What is the second reason that we should find a spiritual teacher? Separation. Separation.
Separation from loved ones.
Yeah. We have to leave all things that we have, our children, our friends, our properties, even our physical body too. We have to separate. We have to leave all from all things.
Detachment.
Yeah, detachment. Yeah. Then, what is the next reason that we should find a spiritual teacher and his teaching?
Well, before the end of the world, before the end of life, you have to understand all this, right?
We'll see.
Yes. Whatever comes to the mind.
What's the other reason?
Is that the part where we're supposed to just listen? Just listen.
Before that situation,
Okay.
if we have listening these things, we are so lucky. We can face those problems without fear and suffering.
Swaminathan, the first thing you said aging.
Aging.
Second one is
Separation.
Separation.
The third one is, even though you don't believe rebirth, you believe that you have to face the death. Death is the third reason that we should find a spiritual teacher and his teaching. But they explain very clearly. If you can believe these three things, it is enough, even though you don't believe next birth. But Buddhism says another reason, that rebirth.
So we should write death or the rebirth?
No.
The third one is death, fourth one is rebirth. Don't worry about rebirth, but if you can be successful in this life itself, you may have good next life. You don't worry about that. The main thing that always Buddhism emphasizes, that to success in this life, in this moment. That is the main thing Buddhism says. Yeah. These things that we have already discussed, again and again we discuss for your memory. Don't worry to remind it all things. We discuss those things again and again, then gradually they are going to permanent in your mind.
That's why in Sri Lanka people laugh that when old age, when you observe Sri and you get more inclined to the Buddhism or your things, your faith, beliefs, when you get old. But people say you should not wait till you really old, get old. But then young time, when you're young age of your life, you don't really realize, you get busy with all the things, what's happening in your life. Only when you get older, you think you realize about the life, right? So that's the way we most of the time do things. Even when in Sri Lanka, you So really think about the life as you get older, right?
But I think it's especially in Sri Lanka, when they do it when they're older, they really don't have the power of the mind to understand. They might be a little senile. So because Buddhism is a very intelligent religion, you need a lot of awareness to understand. I sometimes wonder if those older ladies in the temple, they really understand.
They just do more measure.
They just kind of do the rituals.
Some, of course, if they knew and they never, they didn't have a time like busy with the young time in life, and they practice meditation and along with the rituals. Some do, some probably don't, I think, right?
Yeah. Some persons don't like to believe or think about these reasons because they think that thinking about these things is negative. But according to Buddhism, thinking about these things are not.
Shouldn't be negative.
It is not negative
It's just fact
because
of life.
Better, you can have a better life.
Buddhism says these things not to be worried. We don't worry.
Aware.
We don't worry about old age, about separation or about death because already we have got ready to face those problems. On the other hand, if we know this situation already, we should try to practice Buddha's message and we should try to practice moral life, virtuous life. Then if I reach in good discipline, virtuous life, then we are honored by other people who are around us. When we are going to old age, if we have good character, good discipline, our children, our neighbors respect us. We are honored, we are respected by them because of correct character. Although we have a lot of properties or education, we are not valuable. If we have good qualities, if we have practiced good qualities, then other people who are around us, especially our children, they know about us. They respect us because of our good discipline. And sometimes there are some people who have no children, but even though they have no children, other people know about him or her. End of the life, many people are ready to help him or her because of his correct life or virtuous life or moral life. Here we are going to explain a very special topic in Buddhism, that the Noble Eightfold Path. 8 means there are 8 steps. Buddhism says this topic. Before this topic, we should have understanding a very special thing. What is that? Before practicing this eightfold path, we should have good understanding about a special thing. Yeah, very good. Very good. We should know the nature of the suffering. If we know the real meaning of suffering, then we know the reason of suffering, the cause of suffering. And also we know what is the cessation of sufferings too. And finally, we can find a way or path which leads to cessation from suffering. That is the first noble truth. Fourth noble truth is the Noble Eightfold Path. Suffering can be divided into 4. One day the Lord Buddha told very clearly, I preach to the world only 2 things. What are the 2 things that he explained to the world? The suffering and the cessation of suffering. Very good. The only 2 things that he has explained to the world. His all teachings can be divided, can be included, these 2 things. What is the suffering? What is the suffering?
Suffering is when you have too much of something.
When something changes, if we think it is not changing. When it changes, we suffer, we worry because of our misunderstanding. We think it doesn't change. When it changes, we worry, we are sad. What is the reason? The changing is the reason? No. Misunderstanding is the cause of suffering. We were discussing here. Before we are going to discuss the Noble Eightfold Path, we should know the nature of the suffering. You know, I think already you have listening the Four Noble Truths. Buddha says very clearly, I preach to the world only two things: the suffering and the cessation of suffering. And those two things again can be divided into four. That is said as the Four Noble Truths. What is the first noble truth? Suffering. What is the suffering? What is Sankiptena Panchupadana Khanda Dukkha? That is very important.
Suffering is, sorry.
Yeah.
Suffering is again four. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
He said that again.
Yeah. Very good question. Buddha says, I preach to the world only two things. The first one is suffering. The second one is
Cessation.
Yeah. Cessation. Is it correct?
CEA.
C.
After E, CEA.
C. Okay.
Only one S, I think. SCA, right?
CESSAAT. TIO is the S. TION.
Okay.
Cessation.
The one thing is suffering. The second one is cessation of suffering. This can be divided again into two. The suffering, again suffering, and the cause of suffering. Cause of suffering. This also can be divided into two: cessation, and the path that leads to cessation from suffering.
So that's the one I think Bhante gave us the analogy of a doctor. You have the diagnosis, the cause, and how to, the diagnosis, the cause, is it the prognosis or, oh man, and then I remember those two. Okay.
There is when we consider a doctor,
The diagnosis, the cessation, and the path.
Yeah, disease, the cause of disease, the treatment, and
the diagnosis, and then the cure,
yeah.
and the treatment.
We can compare to the doctor too. Doctor's activity. Yeah, Buddha says he explained to the world only two things: the suffering and the cessation of suffering. Suffering again can be divided into two: the suffering and the cause of suffering, and cessation also can be divided into two: the cessation of suffering, the path or way to lead to cessation from suffering. These four things are the Four Noble Truths. Those are the Four Noble Truths. Here, the final one is again divided into 8 steps according to our topic. Then, what is the suffering? Suffering can be divided into several steps. Buddha says, Jarapi dukkha, Vyadipi dukkha. Like when we face some illness, that is also a problem or suffering. But those things are not serious problem in our life. The serious problem that Buddha explained to the world in our life is unknowing of our process of our life. Especially he says that Sankitena Panchupadana Kanda Dukkha. When we look at the world, when we have some sort of experience through our senses about the world, we get some experience through our senses, such as eye, ear, nose, like that. When we have this experience, suddenly this experience arises and also suddenly it disappears. That is the nature of our experience, that day-to-day life that we get. But we have no that experience, we have not that real understanding. When we have some experience, suddenly it arises and disappears, but we think that is still they are happening in our life. That is the reason of the suffering. That is very important thing. Again and again we have discussed.
Origination.
Yeah.
Right? It's dependent.
That is the nature of dependent origination. Unknowing of dependent origination is the cause of suffering. That is the nature of the suffering.
So, Dhammaguru, you said the serious problem in our life is the what?
Unknowing of the arising and disappearing about 5 aggregates. You know? 5 aggregates? Matter, perception, feeling, mental formation and consciousness. Those 5 things. Every time.
Problems in our life.
When we have some experience through our senses, it means these 5 aggregates arise together. Not only arising, but it disappears very quickly, suddenly. That is the nature of our life. But if a person has no this real understanding, that person thinks that already that experience he has.
Sammaditthi.
If a person has this knowledge, it means sammaditthi. If a person has no this idea or understanding, it means micchaditthi. Sammaditthi means understanding of this knowledge about the 5 aggregates or dependent origination.
So from 4 Noble Truths, and how do we make the connection to the Eightfold Path? So we must have just mentioned.
Eightfold Path is the final one. This is the suffering, the cause of suffering. Cause means desire. Because of no understanding, we have some sort of desire about the world, to the world. We have attachment. We like them. We say the qualities. We are with those things. This is the cause of suffering. The second thing, what is the cessation of suffering? If a person can avoid the desire to the world, it is the cessation of suffering, and we should have a path to cess from suffering. That is the path. This is the path. Path is the Eightfold Path. That is the final one. For the final, before final one, we should have real knowledge about these 3 things. Without this knowledge, we have no real path. If a person knows the nature of the suffering, that person further doesn't like to suffer. He is ready to get rid of suffering.
By following the Eightfold Path.
And also he has some sort of confidence.
The Eightfold Path. So understanding the suffering, and then you work out the cause of the suffering, and then the ways to stop the suffering, and then the path to stop the suffering is the Eightfold Path.
When we discuss about the Noble Eightfold Path, there are 8 steps. That is very important. Not only 8, but there are another 2 steps. You know, there is a very special discourse in Majjhima Nikaya. It says Maha Chattarisika Sutta, very special discourse, Mahachattārisaka, it named Mahachattārisaka Sutta, the discourse of Mahachattārisaka. When we practice, we have eight steps. But end of practicing these 8 steps, we will have another 2 results as the result of practicing those 8 steps. We will discuss it. Mahachattārisaka Sutta. Yeah, first let's discuss about these 8 steps. The first thing is very important. I think already we have discussed about first step. Can you remember? One day we discussed about right understanding, right view, right vision, right understanding, or Sammaditthi. There are many words in Buddhism. Aloka, in Buddha's word, Aloka, Sammaditthi, Panya. There are many words in Buddhism for right understanding. In English we say right understanding or right view or right vision. Buddha says very clearly, Sammaditthi Purejavan. The right understanding is the forerunner of our all good activities. Sammaditthi Purejavan, it means right understanding is the forerunner. At the very beginning we should have right understanding. If we have no right vision, correct vision, we have no path. We have no way to practice. Before practicing this path, first of all, we should have clear knowledge where we go to, what we practice.
So the right understanding is very much linked to the Dharma.
Yeah.
You have to know Dharma. Right
Yeah, for the right understanding, we should have 2 things. The first one is listening to the Dhamma. The second one is the reflection. Without listening the Buddha's message, we have never find the right understanding. That is very important thing.
Is Dhamma?
Dhamma means the teachings of the Buddha.
And what is Dharma? Is that?
Dhamma, Dharma both are same.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a little confusing.
Yeah. Dhamma means Buddha's teaching, the sublime truth. Yeah. For the right understanding, we should listen Buddha's message. Actually, although we say this Buddha's message, but this message doesn't belong to the Buddha too. This is the world reality. He explained to the world reality. Whether Lord Buddha is appeared or not in the world, this world reality is ever in the world. He says very clearly. Even though a Buddha appears or not in the world, reality remains. Yeah, reality is ever. But we respect to the Buddha because he discovered and he preached this to the world. That is why we respect him. But Buddha never hopes that we respect him. He advises us, if you respect me, don't worship me, you practice this message. That is the real way you respect me. Then what is the right understanding? For the right understanding, we should have to practice 2 things. The first one is listening Buddha's message. Not only listening the message, but we should have good attention and we should have good memory, as you already have. That memory, you have to remind it, you have to memorize it, you have to reflect it again and again according to this message. With this knowledge, how we practice this right understanding? What is the first step of right understanding or Sammaditthi?
Confidence of karma.
Yeah, this already we have explained it. right understanding can be divided into two. The first one is the understanding or belief of karmic law. For example, you already know it, that when we do something with pure mind, as the result of pure mind, you will have the good results. If you do something verbally, mentally or behaviorally with pure mind, as the result of pure mind, you will have the good results. Not only hereafter, but in this life itself you can see the results. The second thing is, if you do something with wicked mind, because of polluted mind, you will have the bad results. Not only hereafter, but also in this short life itself you have to face bad results. That is the nature of the polluted mind. If your mind is polluted, you have no happiness. You have no awareness. You have no real happiness even though you are rich, even though you are well educated, because of polluted mind. That is why Buddha says very clearly, for the happiness, sacitta pariyodapanan, try to purify your own mind. That is the way to attain real happiness. The first step of the right understanding is the belief or confidence of karmic law. Buddha says very clearly, mano pubbangama dhamma, mind is forerunner. Mind that judge that you will have the happiness or sadness. Mind is actually your real friend. If you can keep your mind as pure mind, if you can keep your mind with calm and quiet, with wholesome thoughts, it means you are happy. It means you cultivate wholesome deeds in your life. This is the first step of right understanding that is very important. Even though you have no real understanding about dependent origination, if you have some sort of confidence about karmic law, you can get rid of suffering and you can reach to the real happiness. That is the first step. But this is not the identity of Buddhism. You know, there are a lot of people in the society, they practice good values in their lives because of understanding. Even though they are not Buddhist, even though they didn't listen in the Buddha's message, there are a lot of people in the society, they practice good human values because of right understanding, but they have only first step. We are so lucky that we have another chance to listen in the second step too. That is the real fortune in our life, who was born as a human being. That is very, very important thing. We were born to listening to this message. What is the second step of right understanding?
Dependent origin.
Yeah, knowing or understanding of dependent origination. It means understanding of impermanence, understanding of uncertain. A lot of people in the society, they explain impermanence as changing, but the impermanence and changing are completely different. Changing can be understood by any people, but impermanence, according to Buddhism, understanding of impermanence is not easy. That is very important thing. Changing and impermanence are different. The scientists already have discovered the changing. when they divide atoms, they have already discovered the changing. But according to Buddhism, they have not discovered the impermanence. Impermanence means when we get some experience through our senses, every moment this experience arises and disappears. Again and again you try to listen in it. Don't worry it. That is very, very important. If you listen in these things again and again, you get the result of your ears. Your ears. That is very important thing. That is the very rare thing that a person can listen in the world. Then every moment we have this experience. Nothing comes here from previous experience. Nothing goes to the future from the present. At the moment it arises, at the moment it disappears. That is the nature of the impermanence. But we already mentioned that the memory is not fault. Don't misunderstand. Buddhism never says that forget your previous experience, past, forget your future. Buddhism never says. Buddhism never says that forget your past, forget your future. Memory is not the fault. The fault is that when we think some sort of our previous experience, if we think those things as certain, that is the fault. That is the reason of the suffering. As soon as we think something about our previous experience, we should be clever to understand at the moment I reflect my own mind, not I am going to real situation. As soon as you can understand this situation, even though you think your experience, you never hate, you never desire about something.
I've been finding myself being mindful of that lately, actually stopping and thinking, okay, wait, this is just my mind reminding my mind. So it's starting to really sink in.
It's thinking of the sad event, but it's really not the sad thing. You're just reflecting that for a moment it already happened, and this is just.
There is a very important thing that we should understand. The memory or mind also is not certain. It also impermanent. Mind and thoughts, at the moment it arises with the conditions. When the conditions go away, the experience also disappears.
So I think just when an experience happens, not to attach to it. Because once we attach to it, then we're cleaning it, and once we do something like that, then it leads to suffering. And
so you never said realize. So one moment it comes and then it's not there again, right?
So not sad, like not attaching to it.
Just aware of it.
If we can get rid of attachment, actually gradually we get rid of anger too. Buddhism says very clearly, when we have big attachment, it means when we leave them, we have anger. The main reason of suffering, the cause of suffering, the second thing is, Buddhism doesn't say that the cause of suffering is hatred or anger. The cause of suffering is desire, attachment. That is very important. If you have some sort of attachment, when those things separate, you are worried, you are angry, you have anger. As soon as you can get rid of desire, suddenly you can get rid of anger too. The reason of the cause of suffering is desire, not hatred or anger. But there is another reason. The first cause, there is a very beginning cause, another cause, which is ignorance too. But the nearest cause of suffering is desire or attachment. If we have right understanding, as much as we have right understanding, gradually we are ready to decrease the desire. It depends on our understanding. We can do it strictly or forcefully. It depends on our understanding. As much as you have understanding about this situation, gradually you can get rid of attachment or desire. You know, if you know something, if you know there is when we compare some example, for example, there is a fire. When it is a fire, you have real understanding that when you keep your hand, when you touch your hand on fire, it will be burned. If you have real understanding, you never keep your hand there. That here also like that. If you have right understanding, you don't do bad deeds. You don't pollute, you don't unpurify your mind. Always you keep your mind pure and calm, because you like happiness, because you don't like to suffer. Now we have been discussing about the right understanding. If we have right understanding, as much as we have right understanding, we try to correct our thinking pattern, our attention, our thoughts. How we think. If we have this knowledge, always we try to think about the world as it is. What is the right thoughts? It means, according to our understanding further, we are not ready to suffer. That is why we are going to purify our mind from unwholesome thoughts such as desire and hatred. We try to change our thinking pattern. We try to change our attitude according to our right understanding. As soon as some anger comes to our mind, if we have awareness, we know this is the cause of suffering, suddenly we keep away it. We keep it away. Then always our mind is with mindfulness, and also always our mind with loving kindness, friendliness. Then not only thoughts, but also we have right action. You know, if we have right vision, if we have right understanding, then our thoughts are correct. If our mind is pure and calm, then our activities, our actions are also correct and calm, quiet. Then that is the third one, right speech. Yeah. As soon as our attitude is correct, we don't tell lies. We don't tell rubbish. We don't fight with our words to other people. Yeah, we have a good discipline in our speech. Before we have good discipline in our behavior, we have good discipline in our speech. When you see a person, if a person has no discipline in his speech, it means that person has no real understanding. Because he doesn't know what is the cause of suffering. If a person has the real understanding about the cause of suffering, that person doesn't like to say some bad speech, bad words, because he likes happiness. He doesn't like sadness. Therefore, he has a good discipline in his speech. If he has no chance to speak some good words, if his society is always tell rubbish, what does that person do? Yeah, he is silent. He is quiet. He doesn't always he consider his speech. That is very important. You know, when we live in the society, the people who are around us, they believe us about our speech. If we have no real speech, actually we have good education, we are not respected by the society because of our bad words. That is why the right speech is very, very important. Not only for the purification, but if we like to live with respectfulness, if we like to live respectfully in the society, we should have a good discipline in our speech. If we have broken our confidence of speech, we have lost all things. We have nothing. Then the third one is right speech. And actually when we practice these things, the benefits are not only hereafter. The benefits that we acquire in this life itself, we can live with the society respectfully. We are honored in the society. That is why we have to practice these things in the name of happiness, not only hereafter, but also in this short life itself. The fourth one is right action. When we have right understanding, our attention, our thoughts, our attitude is correct. When our attitude is correct, our speech also is correct. When our speech is correct, our actions also, our behavior also is correct. We have a good discipline because of right understanding. What is the nature of right action? Samma kammanta. In Pali language, in Buddha's language, it says Samma kammanta. Samma kammanta means we have good discipline. We don't kill other beings. We don't steal. We don't have sexual misconduct. Those three things are the signs of right action or correct action. Those steps are going gradually, step by step. When we have right understanding, we have right attention, right intention, right thoughts, right ideas, right attitude. And when we have right attitude, our speech is correct and right. When our speech is correct, our actions are also correct. When our actions are correct, our livelihood also is correct. When we do some job, always we should find a correct job. Even though our salary is not big, always we consider a job which is correct, which is righteous. Then there are some jobs as you do, then while we are doing the job, we can get some merits too. That is very important. Although your money is a few, but your merits is a lot. Yeah. You have earned more wholesome activities more than your salary. That is very important. According to Buddhism, there are two jobs that we can acquire some wholesome deeds. First one is the job is in the medical field. doctors, nurses, like other job is the field of education. Those two things are very important. Actually, we gain these jobs as the result of our previous merits.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Not only we get these jobs, but we can acquire, we can cultivate, we can develop some meritorious deeds while we are doing these jobs. That is very important. If you do these jobs kindly, with pure mind, you earn not only money, but you earn merits. If you do it kindly, if you consider only money, you have only money. If you do these things, it depends on your thinking way, your attitude. We were discussing about the right livelihood. When we have good understanding, we have good ideas, good attitude, and not only good attitude, but we have good speech, correct speech, and not only correct speech, our actions, according to our behavior, we do good deeds, escaping from killing beings, stealing, and sexual misconduct. And also, the fifth one is right livelihood. It means when we find a job, always we consider not only salary, but also service. While we are doing a job, if we can earn some meritorious deeds, that is more important than our salary. Then especially we avoid here, as if a person has right understanding, that person always tries to get rid of some jobs such as poisons, drugs, and killing animals. Those jobs are prohibited or neglected in Buddhism. Therefore, if we have good understanding, we don't try to get those wrong jobs in our life, although we can earn a lot of money. Yeah, that's also poisons, weapons, and killing animals, drugs. Drugs means negative way, not medicine. Yeah. And the sixth one is the right effort. Right effort or courage. You know courage? Always we do some things in the name of happiness, and always we try to do good deeds and avoid bad deeds. This also can be divided into four. The first one is we try to avoid some negative deeds that already we do.
That's the right effort.
Right effort.
There's four.
It can be divided into four. The first one is we avoid some bad deeds that already we do. The second one is we don't do some unwholesome deeds that already we don't do. That is the second effort, second courage. The third one is
Cultivate good.
we try to cultivate some goods that already we don't do. That is the third one.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the third one?
We try to cultivate good deeds that already we don't do.
Okay.
The fourth one is we try to cultivate some good deeds or develop or increase some good deeds that already we do. We continue it. we don't forget it. Again and again, we do those good deeds that already we do.
So one is cultivate things that you don't do, but you want to do. And then the fourth one is to increase those good deeds.
Yeah, you continue it. That already you do.
Avoid or don't do some unwholesome deeds that you don't already do. Avoid doing bad deeds that you don't already do. In other words, don't develop bad habits. Is that right?
Yeah. What you do right now, that's bad, you stop it. And then you don't do those bad things. And the third one is you try to do things that you don't usually do, which are good. And then the fourth one is increase the frequency of what you do.
Yeah. Actually, those are the results of our right understanding. Right understanding is like a dawn. You know, when the sun dawns, then we can see the world, and the birds are singing, we are waking, and we can see everywhere because of the sun.
You said these were like the 4 courages from 4 courages?
Yeah.
Did you call them that?
Yeah, the right effort.
Right effort. Right effort can be divided into 4, like
4
this.
courages?
4 courages. We can say 4 courages.
I thought you said that.
But only one thing is that can be divided 4. It says in Buddhism, Satara Samya Pradhana Virya in Pali language. Satara Samya Pradhana Virya. It actually Virya means effort. In Buddha's language, Virya. In English we say it effort, right effort. Right effort can be divided into 4, as I mentioned you. But simply you try to remember it, not to do bad deeds and try to cultivate good deeds. Again we can divide into 2.
Develop it and...
Yeah, develop good deeds and decrease bad deeds. Again and again, day by day, you should go forward with the good qualities. But you know, when we have a lot of good qualities, it means you have a good personality. Even though the society that you are around you are very complex, or some negative people around you, but you should try to keep your attention or mindfulness. You should try to continue your mindfulness. Don't forget, don't neglect, don't avoid your good qualities. The main thing, the very important thing, when your society is very complex and very worse, if you can develop your good qualities, that is more important. Already you have acquired a lot of good qualities as the result of practicing good qualities in your previous lives. Already you have acquired a lot of good qualities. Don't lose those qualities. Try to protect them. That is very important. Even though society is very complex, it doesn't matter. When other people disturb you, try to help them too. That is more important. Actually, helping others who help us, it is common. But if you can help others who disturb you, that is the more important. Yeah, that is better. Yeah, then your mind is very rich. Your mind is very high. That is the concept of Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva Chinta. You know? That is the Bodhisattva, the concept of Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva means before a person enlightened as a Buddha, that person is Bodhisattva. That is the concept of Bodhisattva. When others disturb them, they help them. If we help our parents, children, For example, there is a very special Jataka. You know, I have mentioned it. Mahakapi Jataka. Mahakapi. Mahakapi. Mahakapi Jataka. Kapi means monkey. Maha means great. Great monkey. Yeah. Jataka means Buddha's previous birth. Yeah, one day he was in the jungle as a monkey. The Lord Buddha was born as a monkey in a previous life, but he had a lot of good qualities. When he was jumping from tree to tree, he saw a person who is homeless in the jungle.
Human.
Yeah, human being. He saw a human being. The monkey saw that person was on the bottom of a dig. Walaka කියන්නේ dig කියලා නේ. වල යට කියන්නේ කොහමද? Ditch. Yeah. Then that monkey tried to keep it up with a lanuwa or with a string. Yeah. The monkey got that person up and with the
help of the rope.
Yeah. Then that person is a very bad person. He was a very bad person. He was so hungry. Then that person, you can mention what did he do?
The monkey.
Yeah, that man tried to kill that monkey.
He tried.
Yeah, but suddenly that monkey jumped to the tree, and again monkey thought that person, again I should help that person because now he is in the jungle. Now I have to find him to the road to go to the village. Then he kept some branches of trees, and keeping branches to him, he guided that person to come to the village.
I never heard of that story.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that
it
the
is.
name of the story?
Yeah, Mahakapi. Yeah. Yeah, actually that is the Bodhisattva concept, that it is very difficult to practice. But if a person can practice those qualities, it means that person's mind or attitude is very rich in merits. Yeah, try to at least one time for your life
But the
to help.
Bodhisattva was not a monkey and another man. I don't know whether what he would like we say, it's not time to eat, but then
But did the man finally realize this monkey helped? No.
how the story ends.
wise, probably.
How does the story end?
And finally the monkey guided that person to come to village, and that monkey came back.
So he
He went to the village safety.
He benefited, but he didn't know he was ungrateful rascal.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter to Bodhisattva. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Actually, the Bodhisattvas helped others, not for return. Yeah.
Actually, that's
If you wish a return, actually that is not a real help.
That's what
not expecting anything.
do
Yeah.
something not expecting.
He didn't accept any return, because his concept is he practiced all good qualities in the name of the enlightenment. That is his goal, not his helping again. Yeah. Then right effort means always try to do good deeds. If you have some enemies, try to help them, but you should not burn out. That is very important. You should have a good safety. That monkey, first he jumped again to the safety. Safety is first.
Now the teachers, people who teach, they have a lot of merits because they're always, especially the kindergarten teachers.
Actually,
it's a very
they do a
rewarding
lot of meritorious deeds daily, every moment. They practice loving kindness. even though they don't meditate. Yeah, you also practice.
She is.
Uh-huh.
For preschool, but I'm a caregiver.
Yeah, you are so lucky. All of you are lucky.
I'm parents.
You are the medical field, you are the educational field.
No, parents too, because parents have a lot of merits, because we are totally guiding the children, our own children.
And
Especially all of you are very lucky.
It's the part about loving as if it's your own son, your only son.
Yeah.
You have got these jobs not only by your effort, but also power of your past meritorious deeds.
Wow.
Yeah, you mentioned it. You are so lucky. And seventh one is right mindfulness. That is the very, very important thing. This is the middle. This is the center of all 8 steps. Mindfulness. Right understanding is like a dawn of sun. The right mindfulness is like a stream. All things are together with mindfulness.
So what about people who get dementia? Who get dementia and Alzheimer's and all that. They really don't have it, right? It's very sad.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that.
They can't do anything for themselves because they don't.
It is unable to practice mindfulness. That is very important. That is why it is said Buddhism, if your ears are okay, if you have intelligence, then you practice all qualities, even though you have no hands and legs. If you are blind, if you are blind, it doesn't matter. If your ears are okay, if you are intelligent, ears are more important than eyes. And also intelligence with mindfulness, attention, that is very important. If you have those 2 things, even though you have faced a lot of problems physically, it doesn't matter. You can practice good qualities. You can practice this message even though you are lying on the bed. It doesn't matter. That is why we try to get the result of this life. If we lose this chance, we lose all things. Even though we are very rich, actually the main thing that we have gained in our life, this understanding. That is very important thing. The results can be seen. The results are visible in this life, not only hereafter. That is a very important thing. We should not go to the old age to get the result. When you practice this message, at the moment you can see the results. That is a very, very important thing. The main result of these things, practicing of these things, is happiness. We are living with happiness.
So the earlier you get this knowledge,
first thing is the knowledge. It means Suttamaya Panya. The first thing that you should have the knowledge. The second one is reflection, and third one is the meditation. Doing meditation again and again, try to apply this knowledge. When your mind is very complex with desire and anger, it is unable to reflect this reality. That is why you have to practice your mind with a meditation. When some defilements go away, it is very easy to apply this reality. Although you have knowledge, if your mind is very complex with defilement, it is unable to understand, unable to get the result from this knowledge. That is why you have to purify your mind from desire and anger. That is very important. Especially, we are troubled with anger. Therefore, again and again, try to cultivate loving kindness. That is very important. If you are angry, it means you are worried. Although you are rich. every moment try to keep your mind with loving kindness. That is it. Then your mind is very pure. You are very happy. That is very important. Then mindfulness, it means our good friend. Always we have mindfulness. When we do something, we do it with mindfulness. We know we have good attention about our physical body. When we actually there is a very great discourse in Buddhism. What is that? Mahasatipatthana Sutta. The great discourse of mindfulness or contemplation. The 4 contemplation discourse. Mahasatipatthana Sutta. It means 4 means 4. 4 means when you do some things, you have attention about your physical body. When you sit, you know, now I am sitting. When I stand up, I know now I am standing. Always we should consider about our body. Then we have no mistakes. Not only about physical body, but also when the feelings come to our mind, we know now I have good feeling, now I have negative feelings. We know about our feelings. Not only feelings, but when we have some sort of mental conditions, such as hatred, delusion, we know those conditions. And also consciousness. There are 4 things. Mindfulness divided into 4. Mindfulness about physical body, mindfulness about feelings, mindfulness about mental formations, mindfulness about consciousness. I'm sorry. Mindfulness of physical body, mindfulness of feelings, mindfulness of mental formations, mindfulness of consciousness or mind. Mental formations and mind is different. It is together. Both are always together, but they have some sort of differences. Mind is like a pure water. Mental formations like that we add to the water. When we add some good things to the water, water is pure. When we add some polluted thing to the water, water is polluted.
So that's the consciousness? No.
Consciousness is mind. Mind and consciousness is pure, like a pure water. But consciousness is not alone. Always together with the mental formations. That is why we have to purify our mind from away from negative, polluted ideas, negative mental formations. Have you any problem? Please ask.
I'm just thinking, so mental formations are the things that kind of shape our thoughts, like whatever's added to.
Consciousness or mind is like a pure water. Exactly. Mental formations is like that we add to water. If we add some poisons to the water, poisons is like a mental formation. If we add some medicine or some coffee or tea or something, then we can drink that water because of mental formations is good. If mental formations are bad or negative, then water also is polluted. The nature of the mind is like a pure water, but mind is not alone. Always it is together with the mental formations.
So really you have to be aware of the mental formations, that you're having this in your mind. So that goes together.
You have to be conscious. Conscious. We say be conscious about.
Actually we apply consciousness about 4 things. When we use our physical body, we know about our physical body. We have concentration. We have mindfulness. We have awareness about our body. Not only our body, but also as soon as I look your body, I know your body also like this one. It is like this. It changes. It is going to old age. As soon as you look at a person, Buddha says very clearly, when you see a very beautiful lady or beautiful man, as soon as you look at a person, you should have a good attention. You should be clever to understand. When you look at a girl like age like 16 or 18, very beautiful. As soon as you look at that person, suddenly you should be clever to understand that person. Suddenly go to 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, 90, dead, and and not only dead, but also suddenly his body like a sand. You quickly, if you can see that situation, you have no desire or hatred. But you do your duties. You respect
when
them.
When you have that understanding, you have no desire of hatred?
Yeah.
Desire of them.
Suddenly, quickly, we should know that body. Not only future, but also past too. You can go to past. Now your body is very beautiful now. When you are in your mom womb, what was like that? Then we can imagine both ways. Past and future. Then again and again you can apply these things. You have no desire, but you respect them. You do your responsibilities and duties. You don't forget it.
No
but
attachment.
Yeah, no attachment, but you do your duties very well. Then that is the nature of the awareness. But at the very beginning we look at outside, but finally we don't go to outside. We catch all things in our mind. Although we look at something outside, you are like a mirror. You are like a mirror. As I mention you, I can see you. If I think you are a good person, I am so happy. If I think you are a bad person, my mind is with anger. Then you are like a mirror. I can, according to my attitude, I look at you. Then when I can consider like you are as a shadow in a mirror, then I come to my inside. I think the fault is here, not there. First, at the very beginning, we apply as impermanent some things outside, but finally we come to inside. All things. That is why Buddha says very clearly, it is a very special discourse in Buddhism, Rohitassa Sutta. In Rohitassa Sutta it means, imasmin yeva vyamamatte kale, but it means very big things.
What's the name, I don't know where to
Yeah.
find
Rohitassa Sutta.
Rohitassa.
Yeah. Rohitassa means, Buddha says, the suffering, cause of suffering, cessation of suffering, the path of suffering, all these four things are explained in your inside, not outside. Buddha says all world can be understood by our mind. If we have good awareness, we don't go to outside. We catch it all things in our mind. Going to outside is the primary thing. That is the surface level practice in our activities. Practicing impermanence and some material things in outside, that is the surface level practice. But when we are going to deep level, we are not going to outside. All things we catch in our mind. As soon as I look at you, I know that the concept is in my mind. I can correct here, and nothing to change outside, nothing to correct outside. Now, always we are going to correct. We are going to do all things in outside. But it doesn't matter because of at the very beginning we have to do it. But when we are going to deep level, it is very easy if we are intelligent. If we have good awareness for mindfulness, it is very easy to do. All things are in our mind.
It's very hard to think like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm just sitting here laughing. When you look at me, do you see Ben and Jerry's fish food ice cream?
On the other hand, because of our mind, when we do something, for example, when we do some meditation, first we can imagine the environment. That now I am sitting very nice environment near a river. The Lord Buddha also is sitting and meditating near the river. I am also there. You can imagine all things.
In your mind.
Yeah, in your mind.
You can go anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere. Although you are on the road, you can think, you can imagine as that road as a very pleasant environment near a river.
So then that's true, and it makes sense that we were born to understand this.
How did that happen like that?
Yeah, because when I was a kid, I was forever somewhere else, and I'm still always somewhere else.
We all do that.
On the other hand, when you are at home, you think about your house. Even though you have no lot of facilities, you think now I am living in a very beautiful, very comfortable house, and there is a pond there. You can imagine all things that what you like. You have no spend money to anything. Actually, if you have a lot of, although you have a lot of facilities in your house, if you don't think it, all things are useless. You may have spent a lot of money for the flowers, for the gardening, for the ponds. If you think about those things, you have no happiness. Although you have spent a lot of money for that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
What did you say? I didn't get that.
For example, I can say a very nice story too.
Useless. Is that what you said? If you don't think it, all things are useless?
Yeah, I think if you have no idea about, I mentioned that you may have spent a lot of money for your gardening, for your facilities in your house. If you don't think about those facilities, you are like a poor person,
Right.
Okay.
because nothing is in your mind.
Right, okay.
Like
Yeah.
I was driving.
All things are useless.
Yeah.
All things are useless.
Okay.
That is why I mentioned.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, even though you have no those facilities.
And I was driving past this one place, and I showed there was lovely roses, and I showed the roses to him. I said, "Look, there's." Oh, he said, "Oh my God, I never noticed those roses."
Now
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was there the whole time, and didn't see it.
Yeah, when you look at a very beautiful rose garden, go there and look at them. And you think, you mention as your own roses, don't pick up them. But consider, enjoy as your own flowers.
But the person who goes past the roses and not notice it is a poor person.
Yeah. Actually, all things are prepared for you. Here, when you come here, you think the water is prepared for you. The environment, the lights.
We appreciate
More than 40 lights are lighting behalf of you. If you are not here, there is only 1 or 2 lights here. Yeah. All things are prepared for you. You are so lucky. You think it. Yeah. Before you are coming here, I put on the switch of AC, say about 6, because of you. If you are not here, we are very hot.
It's all for you.
Yeah, all facilities are prepared. You have to think it. You are so lucky, not only here, but also everywhere. When you go on the way, a lot of people worked hard
They have
on the behalf of you. Yeah, all things are prepared in the name of you. Actually, you are so lucky. You have to think it, not only here, but also when you get up early morning in the restaurants. In the restaurant, all things are prepared for your breakfast. Although you pay money for them, but you have to think it. When you come to this world, the scientist has discovered some things for you. Yeah.
But sometimes you will see people, like you've done a lot for them, and they come and they first thing they notice what you've done and they say thank you to you.
Yeah.
And then there are some people who just go,
Take everything for granted.
Right, exactly.
Actually, if we can think, if we have like this attitude, actually we are happy always. We show our gratitude to others.
She says, think always what you have and think about people who don't even have that much.
Yeah,
Be
that's
happy.
true.
Like, she tells me sometimes.
Then you'll always have enough.
I always do that, she says.
Appreciate what you have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Actually, children.
Mindfulness is always you have the awareness what is happening to your life. Not only physical body but also your mind. You have good awareness because of your best friend. Always you are with mindfulness. If you have mindfulness, you have not only awareness, but also you know the arising and disappearing, the cause and effect, the dependent origination. You see the impermanence. Practicing mindfulness means practicing impermanence, practicing dependent origination. That is the main goal of practicing mindfulness. Not only looking these physical or mental things, but also practicing these things, we should have to develop, cultivate, increase the knowledge of impermanence or dependent origination. Then we can decrease our attachments or desire and hatred. And it means we are living with happiness.
So Bhante, now, feelings. You get feelings, awareness in the body. Like for instance, you are sitting down and you are hungry. So that's a feeling, right? And then like
negative
Lord
feeling.
Buddha, just think about the hunger and it goes away, right?
Yeah. Not only thinking that, but also the hungry, the feeling of hungry also impermanence. After you eat something, it is overcome.
So the feeling of hunger is negative?
Sometimes we can think it negative, but when we cultivate our mind, we don't think as negative or positive. We think as it impermanence. Now, although I am hungry, after I eat something, I have no hungry. Yeah, it is also impermanence. Always, everything we practice in the name of understanding of impermanence. That is the final goal. Understanding of impermanence is the way of getting rid of suffering. That is the final goal. All things we do in the name of impermanence, in the name of understanding of impermanence. If we have real understanding, as soon as we look at something, as soon as we hear something, we have a knowledge that as impermanence, then we have nothing to attachment, we have nothing to attach. Then we are very calm and quiet. We can live without troubles.
I know it's what you say is that we can understand, but if you want to say this to young children, they look at it in a different way. I think they have to be taught from the beginning on, isn't it? Like if we say our children who are growing up here, if they like join today for your class, they will look at it, think it little different. Is it, Alama? You don't think that?
Actually, I think they didn't have a chance to understand the real message. That is the main reason. For example, actually, I have been studying for about 25 years. Lonely, I was studying. I have been studying. Still, I am studying. Yeah, you know that what meditation that I have developed a lot. The meditation of death. The main meditation that I practice,
What is
the
that?
meditation of death, Marananusati.
What is that?
Death?
It means always we are reaching to the death. Before death, we have to do a lot of things. We try to study and we try to get the result of the study and we try to study books. We try to get the...
That's you then? Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah.
So you did to get.
I think I mentioned that even though we practice Marananusati, the meditation of death, it is not a problem to our education. We do our education very fast if we have real knowledge. But some people think when we reflect about death, we are fed up.
Negative.
Yeah, we are negative. It is a negative. It is a wrong idea. It is completely wrong idea.
So this meditation is, you have a time thing. You know that you're going to die one day. Before you die, you want to learn everything. Is that the meditation?
Or at least as much as you can?
Is that the meditation? So you have this understanding you're going to die one day. So there's so much for you to learn. So your meditation is to learn everything before you die. Is that what it is?
Not only education. I don't want to study up to death. I want to study very quickly because of understanding of death.
I don't understand that.
Is it possible that from the time you were a child, you've been studying Buddhism, right? So this is just my mind. I want to test my understanding. We have been married, perhaps have children, and all these activities and people and things that have these distractions. Whereas he is pure in his Buddhism because he has not had those distractions. So maybe his timetable is a lot faster because he's focused solely on the lesson. Whereas,
for example, I can say you an example. You know about Steve Jobs? Steve Jobs, who was the person who was the founder of Apple company, Steve Jobs. Actually, every day, when he went to the mirror, he reflected the death. He reflected the death. Steve Jobs was the founder of Apple company. Steve Jobs. Actually, he has discovered more than 300 new devices in his own ideas. But every day, he mentioned his death. Because of reflecting his death, he could do a lot of things before death. But a lot of people who don't care the death, they think that they have a lot of time to death.
Life is like a permanent.
Then if we have this knowledge before that situation, we try to do the best things quickly. We try to choose the very important thing. We don't do all things.
Prioritize.
Yeah, we have a priority.
You have a bucket list, so you're trying to prioritize the bucket list.
And also we do those things very quickly. We don't waste the time. On the other hand, actually I also now still my parents living. Both of them are more than 80 years old. Actually, I try to get some result from the Dhamma before they die. That is my goal. Actually, when we consider those death situation, we do a lot of things, very good things we do. We try to get the result of the time. The time is the most important thing in our life, more than money or any other thing.
you have no control over. Right?
Yeah.
So it's also understanding impermanence.
Right.
This is really understanding impermanence.
Then every moment we should have the mindfulness. If we have mindfulness, we are living with happiness. If we lose the mindfulness, it means we lose the happiness. Then when we do all activities, we do mindfully.
What is that called? Marana?
Marananusati.
Marana.
The reflection.
Marananussati.
Marananusati. Yeah.
What is English translation?
English.
Is that death meditation?
Concentrating that. Concentrate.
On the death
of the death.
Yeah, concentration. Yeah.
Marananussati. I've heard that.
We don't have fear about death. Before death, we try to get the result of the life.
Right. It's
That is the nature of the practice.
It's very positive.
Very positive. Very positive.
Actually, it's the best I've heard because otherwise you're floating around. Here you put a timeline in there, prioritize and get it done,
We don't do all things. Always we try to select the very valuable things.
Yeah.
That is the very important thing.
Make a list.
Then we don't consider about money a lot. Yeah. Now always we consider the money or properties or material things. When we consider this situation, especially we consider about the time and this message, practicing this message. Every moment is very important. 1 second, if we practice this message 1 second, we can get the result in future more than millions of years. It is said in Buddhism very clearly. The practicing this knowledge is very important. Then if we practice this impermanence, then our mind is very rich in understanding. Then not only mindfulness, when we practice again and again mindfulness, we are reaching to the concentration. We can keep our mind with calm and quiet for a long time with concentration as practicing of meditation. That is the 8th step. When we have right understanding, we have right attitude. When we have right attitude, we have right speech. When we have right speech, then our activities, our actions are correct or right. When our activities, our actions are correct, our livelihood, our living pattern also correct. We do the righteous jobs because of right understanding. Not only right action, but we have the right effort not to do bad deeds and develop or continue the good deeds. And also we have another special thing that we have to acquire, we have to develop in our life as our best friend, right mindfulness, like our whole parts of our life. And then again and again we try to concentrate our mind with pure mind. As meditation, especially, we try to develop the sitting meditation. That is very important at the very beginning. But gradually, when we practice it, we can do the meditation, not only sitting, but also going here and there, and sitting and lying. Every behavior, we can practice it. When we do some things, when we do our jobs, we can practice, we can apply this knowledge if we have right mindfulness. Then with the concentration mind, then we know how much defilements that already I have decreased. Then we can know, now I have no enemies. Now gradually I have decreased my desire. Then again and again you can see the results. It is invisible results. If you have developed loving kindness, if you have developed honesty and wisdom, it means you are gradually increased in the good way, correct way, with the good qualities in the name of happiness. Then as much as you practice these steps, you can be happy, you can see the results yourself. you should have no judge. You are the judge. If you have right understanding, you know your qualities, you know your negative deeds, then how much that you have practiced good qualities you can understand. That is the very important thing. As the result of these 8 steps, as the practicing of these 8 steps, we can reach gradually the final goal, which is happiness. Then again and again we have to listen in the message. We have to practice right understanding. Again and again we try to practice right understanding. That is very important. As much as we have the right understanding, we have other steps too. That is why Buddha says, Samma Ditti Pure Javan. Right understanding is the forerunner, like a dawn of sun. If the sun is invisible, you have no light. Then try to be visible, the sun. The sun of your life is like the right understanding. Then gradually try to develop it. For that I wish you all the best. To practice these teachings, I wish you all the best and health and peaceful life. And thank you for your coming and listening this message. And I appreciate your coming. Your coming encourage me always to improve my knowledge and my discipline also, I think. That is why I show my gratitude to you too. And now let's transfer the merits that we acquired in this moment. We believe that there are some relatives who departed, and they want to receive some merits from us. At the moment we have acquired a lot of meritorious deeds in our mind as a result of this power, a positive power. May they receive these merits and may they attain good life and may they attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, we transfer the merits to our beloved departed relatives. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. We transfer these merits to divine persons, angels too, and receiving these merits, may they keep their eye on you and they may protect you for a long time with happiness. With that intention, we transfer all these merits to divine persons too. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhataṃ puñña sampadam sabbe deva anumodanto sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata ca sambhataṃ puñña sampadam sabbe deva anumodanto sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhataṃ puñña sampadam sabbe deva anumodanto sabba sampatti siddhya. Okay, I wish you all the best. May Triple Gem bless you. Thank you for your coming. Okay.